pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to the work session of January 23rd here at 9:32 a.m. at beautiful Town Hall, Southampton. Ask the Secretary Treasurer, please call the roll.
William Parrish.
Present.
Ann Walker.
Here.
Edward Warner is on his way, be here very shortly. William Pell is here. Scott Harwood's president.
I am here.
You ready to go?
Thank you very much. We do have a quorum. I'm sure Trustee Warner will be showing up momentarily. I have a couple of modifications on this morning. First one's 31 Ogden Lane.
Yes.
You here to speak to that one?
It's,
Why don't you come up? You can't speak from there. I mean, I know it sounds convenient, you're comfortable and all,
that is
but
very comfortable,
Huh?
actually. The board has approved a previous permit on this and the adjacent property as well. It's a pre-existing boat basin that the trustees have approved to be dredged out. This is really just a modification to the walkways landward and adding some non-vegetated areas, some out of sand, some out of rock, and cutting some steps into it. Both the properties are kind of looked at together because they share the boat basin.
right. Talking 31 and 29,
I think I remember this.
yes.
Can you
Right.
do an overhead shot?
Yep.
Here's, Trustee Warner has entered the building, just so that you know. He's here.
Morning, everybody.
There you go.
Good
Yeah,
morning.
you can see that it's a shared,
Yeah, we're not changing anything to do with the bulkhead locations. It's really just the walkways behind it and some vegetated areas, some sand, some rocks, and cutting
right,
steps.
it all meets our requirements.
It does. It's all-
It's fine. You know, I don't know if you want to look at this, Eddie, this is doing a modification on 31 and 29, Ogden over in Quad.
Walking out?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
prior,
You
Approved
approved
this,
all the
just
bulkhead
making some
reconstructions,
tweaks.
the dredging and everything else. This
Yeah,
is just
man-made
modifying the
dugout.
walkways.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
I'm good with this. I'm good with this, and I'm good with, obviously, you know, with the other one as well. So
Yeah.
it's adjoining it.
no, like I say,
So,
it's,
if anybody has any commentary on this. James, you have?
Grass there.
it's a lot of, it's a strange basin. You know,
Yeah.
it's so narrow to get in, you know. But,
Gotcha. James, you good?
yeah.
I would advance both of those. 31 and 29 Ogden. Okay,
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
all right, thank you. Trustee Warner, you ready, or you want to let Trustee Welker?
I'm good.
You good?
7 Baby LLC modification, Saving Bayberry Cove Lane, Shinnecock Hills, Nelson Pope Quarries. I believe their consultant is here, Brent.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Good to see you all.
Yes. Missed you, I haven't seen you in
I know.
a couple meetings.
Yeah.
So I guess this is the final iteration of plans that we're going to be looking at as far as this project?
Well, that's the idea,
Okay.
and I'm hoping that this is just more of just a clarification on the language that we caught when the permit was written. You know, we came to the trustees and said, hey, there was just a little bit of confusion on the language on the permit. When we did the presentation initially, it was brought to our attention that we had a Scrivener's error on the plans. And in our write-up, we were demonstrating 4 to 5 rows of core logs on the bank stabilization, when in fact we were proposing more like 8 rows. So throughout the course of the hearing, we made that clarification on public record. We made that clarification in writing to the trustees with the submission materials that we gave to you. But when it came time to write up the permit, we didn't realize that we didn't make that correction on the actual original application product description. So after having a conversation with James, we quickly realized that's what happened, and it was told to us that we had to come to you for a formal permit modification to correct the language on the permit to recognize 8 rows of core logs instead of 4 to 5. The plans that were approved, the plans that were presented, always showed the 8 rows. It was just a matter of clarification on the language of the permit so that in the future, there's an accurate record as to what was proposed and approved.
Yeah, and just for clarification of the board, these rows of coir logs are going to be added in place of a hardened return, because originally, we had asked Mr. Mackey, I believe, it was the owner of the property at the time, to put a longer return on a couple of the wing walls, which he never did, and there was some erosion. So trying to mitigate all the erosion that has happened in the past and possibly in the future, I believe this is a really good project, the way it was presented. It just, like you said, it was improperly, worded or Scrivener's error. So, I mean, I'm good with moving it forward if everybody else is.
I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with it.
All right,
Okay,
advance it.
We're all good, he's got stamp plans and everything, so we're
Good.
good.
Okay.
great.
Thank you
Thank
very
you all.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Where's the status of the DEC permit? Do you have an upgrade on that, update?
Well, I keep looking at my crystal ball, but nothing ever comes through. I have been sending weekly emails and.
You want some Windex?
What's that?
You want some Windex?
No, I'm really, because this board has taken a very hard look at this project and brought a lot of, information from the public, as from you guys, and from engineers and consultants and experts. I'm just wondering where the DEC is going to when they're going to chime in, and how if they're going to make any further adjustments on this plan. As it is right now, I think it's a really good project, and I think it should be done ASAP, because that bridge, as we talk, is literally bulging out. So-
That is our concern as well. If it makes the trustees feel any better, you did a very thorough review of this. We came to you with a lot of information, and I believe that for some reason, the DEC felt as though it was important to look at the trustees' record. They have told us that they are watching the videos from our presentations to you to gather as much information as possible, I guess. And we're still confused as to why it's taken them so long to look through the information. We have been trying to be as transparent as possible and telling them we're open to meeting with them, we're open to discussions with them, but we're just not getting anywhere. So we're trying, we just don't have a formal.
Well, there's been a substantial amount of public interest in this
Yes.
application. And I think that weighs very heavily on, everybody's decision-making process and, as it should.
Well,
So
one
that's
thing I'd
what's
like to
going
really say, I'd really like to see this part of the project done so that we know that everything is stabilized, and then we could take a harder look at the channel and the waterway that flows under the bridge.
Yep.
That, once we got one part done, then we could step to the next part of the project.
Well, let's not sit here and
Yep.
try and figure out what another regulatory
No, I'm not
authority
going to.
decision-making process is going to be. Let's let them do their thing. and
Yep.
You can do your thing, and obviously we did ours.
Yes. Yes, and we appreciate the trustees taking a hard look at this and working with everybody to make a good
Right.
decision here. Thank you all.
Thank you, Brett.
Okay.
I have 142C Newtown Road LLC, 142C Newtown Road, Hampton Bays, Michael A. Kamak.
That's the guy. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Michael, how are you doing?
Sit down, sign in, state your name for the record.
Michael A. Kimack. Do you need my address?
You can fill it for me.
I'm an attorney if you want me to swear in or not, but I normally do anyway because people simply don't trust attorneys. Sorry about that.
That's okay, I'm the lawyer.
Counsel.
All set.
All right.
of Peconic Bay, just west of the Shinnecock Indian Reservation. Well, if you want to do the narrative, you're the,
Yeah, give us your presentation.
yes.
Okay.
Counselor.
The project has been ongoing for some time. My client originally bought 142C Newtown Road, which had an old double Dutch colonial house on it, and wanted to renovate it. Found out from the architects that it had in such a dire condition that they thought they'd be best served by knocking it down. It had, although it had historic, because it was older than 75 years, it has historic designation. I took it to historic, and we were building an exact replica, and we got the approval to knock it down. Because he wanted to move it further back. We were just at the 50-foot mark on the jurisdiction line. And he found out that he couldn't because your town basically reverses the front yard to the rear yard. Basically, so he wasn't able to move it back as far as he wanted. So he bought the property behind it, knocked that house down. And then I merged the two properties by deed. And then there was a right-of-way for the next one up, and he wanted a little bit more room, so he bought that house, knocked it down. So, but nothing said about the bulkhead primarily. He's going to build a singular home on all three lots. I'm in the process of getting the merger done on the last one. But I also designed the bulkhead. To give you a background, before I became an attorney, I owned a ski and a golf course in Vermont, built 200 homes, 3 or 4 sewage treatment plants, a few bridges, a couple of dams. Got my ass kicked in 1990, came back, went to law school. How's that for a short one? So my whole background's been in construction development. I design bulkheads, I design retaining walls. I'm doing restoration of slopes for 1,000 linear feet right now. And this is my background, other than being an attorney. This particular one is, we want to replace about 250 linear feet. It's an odd situation. It has kind of like a secondary tier to it. The original one was about 8 or 9 foot high. And then there's a section that's an additional 6 or 7 foot higher than that, which we're removing primarily. We're making it straight across at about 9 foot high. The beaches actually come up an extra couple of feet, so it's probably about the 8 foot range. It's designed, when I laid it out, I talked to a couple of marine contractors based upon that particular area, and we decided on the thickness of the pilings. We decided on what type of vinyl sheeting we would use. We're using an SG 750, which is one of the heavier ones for that particular area. I also decided to use helicals rather than dig back and use regular dead men, because I didn't want to have to go back 16 or 20 feet and create a situation, because they're going to be building some retaining walls on top of it, that it would just take too long for the kind of settling that will go on with the material. Gravel settles about 1 inch a foot, clay settles about 2 inches a foot if you don't get through your compaction. So it would minimize the amount of damage landward of the new bulkhead. In addition to that, the bulkhead's position, if you look at the drawing, is back about 15 feet from the one next to it, adjacent to it. That was the original position of the concrete seawall. Mm-hmm. And I'm not quite sure what year it was taken out, but I think it was probably in the 80s that it had been destroyed. And there were several big pieces of that laying on the beach. Mostly concrete, but they've got a lot of rebar sticking out of them. And part of the plan is to just remove those, right down to the low water mark.
Yeah, I think that's a really good, I mean, basically from East Landing all the way down to the reservation, there are remnants of an old cement bulkhead, which have been, sent our marine maintenance guys down there multiple times to cut off the rebar that was sticking out of it. So, I mean, I really...
It's a danger, and I looked at it, and...
people can get impaled on it.
Right.
Yeah, my contractor said we probably can pull it up from the land. If necessary, we may be able to get permission to come in from the right-of-way, which is about 400 feet the east, if I remember correctly, now the public town road.
That would be Sunset Avenue, yes.
Yeah, that has access, but I think we can reach it from the property.
You would need to get access from the Sunset Shores community.
Yeah. He may not necessarily need that,
Okay,
because we've got, I mean, there's nothing on the property, it's all open right now.
yeah.
It's, a couple of them thought we could pull it up from the property itself.
I mean,
Pretty straightforward. You're gonna ask me about what I'm doing with DEC, and I'm sorry I have to smile, because at any given time, I've got a dozen applications in the DEC, and I run into the same thing that the gentleman has prior to this. It's always a crapshoot. I mean, you take your time, you thoroughly go through it for the town. That may not necessarily be the DEC's thinking, and they may come in with something else. A lot of times I go to DEC first and come back, but the two entities don't really talk to each other. They have their own set of criteria, and you have your own set of criteria.
Yeah.
And hopefully, they meet in the middle, and you've got a plan.
Well, we are the property owners. When we permit something on our property, you know, it's kind of a unique situation. The trustees own these properties.
Yeah.
Or have easements to them. The DEC gives a permit to the applicant on our property without conferring with us. So it's kind of a.
What a surprise.
It's not a very, how would you, seamless thing, but our board, takes, and I can speak for myself, public access is paramount here. And, and also allowing, the client to maintain his property and not have terrible erosion and storm damage, which during Sandy, a lot of the bulkheads along there got desecrated. I mean, it was a terrible situation. But in all, looking at this project, I believe it's a good project. If any of the other board members want to chime in, they're more than welcome, so.
That's a fairly steep bluff there, right?
No, I mean, the land itself,
Mhm.
less than 5 degrees. It pitches down towards the
And how
bulkhead.
high, what's the elevation?
Well, what
The
you've
lot
got there is
above.
you've got that, the one off to the right over there, right now, that's the area of the extra 6 or 7 foot high, right now. And I would imagine, all right, it's probably no more than maybe 10 degrees, it pitches down like about this. But it's all gonna be regraded, there's retaining walls going in at that particular area. That's one of the reasons that I use the helicals. I just didn't want to disturb any more land than I needed to, and I didn't want to uncompact the soil and then have to put it back and try to get to AHT 95.
And what's the vegetation or revegetation plan?
That's all, you've got that basically, I submitted it, it's
Yes.
done by Marshall Pastel, rather extensive primarily.
Can you just give me,
Yeah.
He's got the better plans there.
There you go.
Here we go.
so high and low blue, high and low bush, blueberry, seaside goldenrod, couple different species of Rosa rugosa, Rosa virginiana, eastern red cedar. So it's and butterfly weed, bearberry, so it's a combination of
Mhm, yeah.
plants.
Sticking with the
brush
indigenous
as well
permitted.
as-
Yeah,
planting.
once the bluff is stabilized with a new bulkhead, then you can revegetate and it's gonna stay there, so it's gonna,
There is obviously a complete planting plan for the entire piece of property, but
Right.
we basically did that at 50 feet.
Right, thank you for that.
pretty extensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're really nice people, they just want to build a nice house. It's gonna be a big Dutch, double Dutch colonial, exactly as the one we took down. I used to be a ski bum. That's what people say, what'd you do? I said, "A ski bum."
James, do you have any comments?
No, it's good. Planting plan is great.
Yeah?
Just the material needs to be non-treated.
Unlike, they talked about, we're gonna use Greenheart. You can condition it, I'll give you a new plan on that
You
one.
just get a, basically verbiage in your, cover sheet that it's gonna be non-treated material.
Yeah, I didn't realize it, I mean, obviously, you could be more restricted than DEC, which allows ACQ.
Yes, we are.
They need
And
to,
My marine contractors have pointed that out to me.
they need to perhaps carve that out, and I don't think it's that tough with technology where any applications that they have located within the township on the properties that are owned by the trustees, they should carve it out in their system to indicate the local laws, home rules, that we,
My
are more
apologies, I
restrictive
hadn't
on.
done one before in Southampton. Everyone else, we can use ACQ on, nobody's ever questioned, and DEC allows it, so in that situation, they don't question it.
We haven't walked away from keeping that out of our waterway because we're concerned about bioaccumulation into the environment. And we take our shellfish.
Well, chromated copper arsenic, which is banned in 2003, back to ACQ, which is the copper-based, less intrusive, but still has some of the,
It's still a bioaccumulator.
yeah.
We
Yeah.
also need the plan stamped as well. The revegetation plan is stamped, but it looks like the bulkhead construction plan is not stamped.
So, with your helical piles and all that, you're gonna need like an engineer's stamp plans before we can move this to final
That's not
approval.
a problem, I'll go get my friend to stamp it.
Okay.
I design it, he stamps it.
Well, it looks like a very good project, so let's move
What
on.
I'll do then, basically, how many copies would you want of the stamped?
Just one.
Just
What
one.
I'll do is I'll also change, pressure treated to Greenheart.
Yes,
Okay.
that's
Yep.
on the cover sheet and the
Yeah, but
plan.
I'll do it on the plan,
That's fine, that's good. Better to synchronize.
and I'll get it in, and
It's
I'll
supposed to
mail
match.
it.
If the
I'll mail
plans, if the plans are gonna be large like that, you just have to
No, this
send
is
a
the one.
digital. Yeah, just send a digital copy too
Okay, you got
of
it.
the plan.
And I've got your address.
Yep.
Yep.
Send it in. Perfect.
Need anything further, you can speak to James. He'll provide whatever guidance you need to.
Okay, good, James.
so-
We chatted on the phone.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
It was a toss-up between you guys or Marty Shade's group. It took a while. It was like the old Abbott and Costello, who's on first on this one. Took a while to figure, until we figured that 1640 compact to
Yeah.
take logs off the property.
Yes.
I said, okay.
No, well,
We were here before the town.
I think
We
all
were
the
the town.
I think all the
We'll be
logs are-
here after the
I think
town.
all the logs are gone,
Yeah.
primarily.
pending.
All right.
You can hold on to that plan if you'd like.
So this will be on the next work
The
session
planning.
pending the new.
Yep.
Right,
Yeah,
which is the
stamp
13th of February?
Yep.
Right.
So we're gonna put this on, the final iteration on the next work session, make sure everything is.
I'll have that
Yep.
in, so you've got
Okay.
that primarily.
Okay.
With the digital copy, something like that.
Did we give the planting plan back?
Yes.
I think you have it.
The big one, yes.
No, I don't.
Who has it? Nothing up my sleeve.
Could put it up in the file.
You have it,
Ah,
Eddie?
I see, I have it.
How about that, see?
I got the small one here.
But gentlemen, keep your fingers crossed with DEC, they do take a lot of time.
Yeah, we know that.
I've got at least a dozen projects in, and I keep sending my letters in also. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Have a nice morning.
Good
Enjoy.
day.
All right, trustee Welker.
Okay, we have first, Barlovento LLC, 23 Wheaton Way, Watermill, First Coastal. Good morning, Billy Mack. How are you?
How's everybody doing?
Bill?
Mr. Mack.
You're a skier, right?
Oh, yes.
Fellow ski bum, there we go. No, once a ski bum, always a ski bum. Take care.
I knew you were gonna clue in on that, Bill.
Not many of us left, right?
This is for a 288-foot elevated walkway with a 4 by 55-foot catwalk with a 3 by 12 ramp, 6 by 20 float, and it is, we had asked for an opinion from the Environment Division. I'm just going to read it into the record. Dear Mr. Horowitz, the Environment Division has reviewed the above-referenced application and has the following comments. Based upon an Environment Division inspection completed Tuesday, December 20th, 2022, the proposed catwalk dock route, notwithstanding the length, is preferred over shorter approaches to the water as its construction through non-diverse Phragmites stands to the west rather than across the tidal pond and coastal shoals and mudflats to the east, which will lessen potential adverse wetland impacts. Consistent with the Conservation Board requirements, the catwalk and dock will be constructed with untreated wood materials and open grate decking. So, James, if you just pull up, did you already put it up, just the aerial?
Yep.
So as you can see, there's a pond sort of off of the bay there, so this This dock will go just to the west of
Yeah.
that, so that
Here's
doesn't
the
impede.
updated plan that shows that
Right.
configuration.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
And this does go across land that's owned by Town of Southampton.
Yes.
A portion of it, as does the walkway on the property to the west of it. It's in 2.5 feet of water at the inside edge of the float. It's all untreated materials. It is, pretty much all of that lot is Phragmites, basically right up to the edge of the,
lawn.
yeah, right up to the edge of the fence.
Yeah.
I have another set of plans if anybody'd like to see what's going on here.
Always give us plans.
But
It's not too many options that we can do here, other than going into that pond, which was the first thought,
right,
just to minimize the structure, but, it seems to make sense.
yeah.
The pond has no water in it.
Yeah, it's no water. Well, we were gonna bridge over to the other side. I think that was our original plan,
I think,
which, the Phragmites are, as Marty
Well,
mentioned.
between the wildlife that's in the pond, I
Yeah,
think that this is the better option.
Yeah.
I think so.
And it's consistent with what we had given on the property to the west and north.
North.
Yes,
and west,
exactly
yeah.
right. Yeah, it's almost, that goes through the same
Billy,
strand.
when you did the other permit, wasn't there some issue that they needed a covenant or something from,
Yeah, they had it, we gave them a covenant.
or the conservation board or someone?
Yeah, then the town attorney wrote something up for them to go over that grass.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because originally they wanted to go all the way across. Did you do that one? Or I think it was.
The west one?
Well, I think maybe Matt Ivins did.
Yeah.
Better not speculate.
I can't remember who did it, but I remember that, I'm pretty sure that there's a covenant on going across there.
Mark, you want to chime in on that?
They did they did a resolution adopted by the town board,
For the other one?
for this one, for 23 Wheaton, it's 23 Wheaton, right?
Mhm.
Easement was recorded with Suffolk County Clerk's office.
For the dock.
I think we needed to do that in order to satisfy the going over the.
That's
Down there.
what I'm talking about.
So we're past this already?
Yeah.
You know, the town has a scenic easement, and it looks like from this resolution,
Yes.
that it's okay for that dock to be built over that scenic easement. It does talk about the right of the owner of the property to construct, install, maintain, and repair catwalks, docks, walkways, et cetera. So it looks okay from what I'm reading, this adopted town board resolution.
For the new one or for the one, the neighbor, what's already there?
Well, this
For
one's,
this one,
For the current one
23
that we're
Wheaton Way.
reviewing.
yeah, and it says the owners made an application to the trustees to install a floating ramp and catwalk, and that the town of Southampton hereby consents to the installation of the structures over and across the easement, but it is conditioned that an additional covenant that has to run with the land shall be recorded on the property, requiring the property owner to obtain and maintain a liability policy on the structures, and naming the town of Southampton as an additional insured. So that's the only condition.
Yeah, I believe my office is in the process of putting that together
Okay.
with their attorney.
The ramp and float, it's gonna be seasonal,
Seasonal.
stored,
Stored, we store all our ramp and floats off premise,
not on the wetlands.
not on the wetlands.
Okay.
No,
Just making sure because,
We got a stack of floats and ramps if you wanna come by and take a look.
no, I believe it. I've seen your flatbed
We do
going
need
down the road.
stamp plans for this, so.
Yeah, it's down.
So we'll, pending those stamp plans and the covenant,
That's what I was just gonna ask. Do we hold this until the covenant?
well, it's gotta be held till the next work session anyway. for
Anyway.
Plans, so
Yep.
would you be able to get that done by then or no?
I'll find out.
And do we need to put on, James, that it's gonna be seasonally?
Catwalk and ramp.
Installed.
Yeah, that's up to you guys. if you want
Yeah,
that.
if we could change cover sheet for that, that'd be
Okay.
great, Billy.
You got it.
There's not much water going into that pond, that's just right?
It's shoulder.
That pond used to be completely landlocked,
Yeah.
but being that the bay's been so high for so many years, it's opened up, and there's, at a high bay, there's 3 feet of water, and a low bay, there's 6 or 8 inches of water. A lot of muskrats down there.
Good times.
Okay, can we move on?
Sure.
Yep.
Great.
Please.
So 351 Bridge Lane LLC, 351 Bridge Lane, Village of Sagaponack. Welcome back, Mr. Mack.
Yes, hello.
This is to construct a new 4 by 310-foot elevated catwalk. A 4 by 100-foot fixed dock with 2 4 by 15 cantilevered open frame kayak racks at the seaward end. No treated wood and open grate material. Originally, and an opinion from the Conservation Board. I'm just gonna read it. Subject premises for which catwalk and dock approval is being sought fronts on Sagaponack Pond, contains village and state regulated freshwater and tidal wetlands. New York State has designated Sagaponack Pond as a 303D impaired water body due to high concentration of fecal coliform. The wetlands are regulated pursuant to Chapter 225 of the Code of the Village of Sagaponack. The applicant has submitted Conservation Board wetlands permit application in order to legalize various structures and to restore unauthorized clearing within and adjacent to the wetlands, as well as to remove the existing at-grade wood walkway to Sagaponack Pond. The application is currently pending before the Conservation Board. Notwithstanding the need to legalize various structures upland of the wetlands, the Conservation Board has no objection to the applicant's request to replace the existing at-grade wood walkway through the wetlands to Sagaponack Pond with an elevated, untreated wood, light penetrable catwalk and dock. Although the Conservation Board has no objection to the applicant's request, the board does recommend that the 351 Bridge Lane LLC Dock A plan be revised to note that the walkway will be constructed with untreated wood consistent with the application. We put in a request for that change to be made, that untreated wood would be, the language would be specified on the plans as well as on the cover sheet. So, this walkway is 310 feet long, as you can see, over
Need a snack bar.
the wetlands. And then there's 100 feet out into Sag Pond. James, if you could just put Sag Pond up there for a second. Where the end of this walkway with the steps and the kayak racks at this point is in 2 feet of water. My concern is if you look at the other docks that are situated on Sagaponack Pond, most of them are 10 to 15 feet long. If this is only to be used for kayak and paddleboard racks, why are we looking at a 100-foot long dock?
Yeah, because you don't have appreciable water depth. You're running at 1.5, according to your hydro survey, for a long period of time. And I think
Yeah.
even a foot paddle kayak, all you need is
16
18 inches,
inches,
right?
yes.
16, 18 inches.
Not
So,
even that.
so to maintain consistency with what Trustee Welker is saying, I see the point.
So my recommendation would be to bring this back.
Well, if you come off straighter, instead of cocking it towards the
North.
If you come out straight, you've got a tiny bit more water there. 1.16, 1.6, 1.6. You know, it's a tiny bit more.
I mean, it's probably about 70, less than that, 50 feet, could be 60 feet. But
Yeah, you got 1.5 for a long period of time.
Yeah.
I mean, James, the ruling in the Blue Book states that is applicable, though, to boating. if you don't get to 2.5 feet.
It's appreciable more that they
Yeah.
Right.
come to 25, I think, 25 feet.
Yeah, regardless, if you don't get to appreciable water
Yeah.
depth, then you could see it's kind of flat there for quite a
Right.
while.
And it's also for a kayak or a paddleboard, really, I think
Yeah,
that,
it's-
You could pinch it back to
We could-
1.5.
How about this, how about if we go straight out, like Ed was saying, and take it to that 1.6,
Yeah.
which is gonna be close to 50 feet,
Yeah, that would be,
as opposed to 100 feet.
Well, you go from what, 1.5 to 1.6?
I'm
Yeah.
You're talking about,
Oh, right, no, well, I'm
you're
just saying.
talking about nothing.
How about
Yeah.
that 1.6 right off as you come off the dock?
that's what I'm looking
you're
at.
Yeah,
talking right
that's what I
here.
would.
Yeah, it would go,
Yeah,
the
right
first
there.
one that
Comes
goes straight
straight.
out,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Bill,
then it's tucking it in towards the shore, you know? You
Yeah.
have it in like a cove there, and it's really gonna
Back farther,
stick out.
James.
Back
You
here.
can go back
Right
even
there,
further, yeah,
right
you're
there.
not gonna, you're talking
Yeah.
about,
I
In
think
line.
the first 1.6 that you
Yeah.
get to,
yeah.
there's a foot and then there's 1.6. If you
This
just
one?
do it
Where
there.
my cursor
That's fine.
No, up to the right one,
Go over to where the 100 is,
right? Yeah.
right
one?
there.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
straight out right to that, to the
Yep.
1.6, the first 1.6.
Yeah,
And how long is that?
That would probably be about,
30 feet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe a lot less.
yeah,
Like
significant
25, 30.
reduction in
You
the.
save
You're
them-
also
save a lot of-
tucking it into the shore, and you're not gonna see it, you know, visually. This sticks out pretty far.
For no gain.
I'm not opposed to that, because it's a little more protected, too.
It's protected, and you really have no gain for spending all that money and
Only makes the dock builders richer.
But it's also just in keeping with the character of other
it
docks
keeps
on
consistency.
the pond that
Keeps-
have
I'm
been
happy to
permitted.
use
Consistency with the Blue
80
Book.
feet, 70 feet if we could get rid of that.
Yeah.
Just make
Yeah.
that little section, whatever it is,
Yeah.
30, 25
You
feet.
still get your water,
Yeah.
you still get your kayak
Okay.
racks, you still get your walkway over the marsh. I think it could be a good,
All right. If I update that to that and get it stamped, are you guys good with that?
we would still have to put it on for the next meeting, but the next meeting's in 2 weeks. So
Yeah,
it's still.
Put it on for the 13th work session. All right, James?
Okay.
So,
Put it on for
seems to
13th
be
work
the,
session.
Yeah, so we're gonna have.
Because since
You're
it's
gonna
short.
stamp those plans, really?
yes,
Pardon me?
You're gonna have those plans stamped too?
Yes, we'll have to
That
stamp
way it
those
doesn't
as
have
well.
to stay another.
Yeah, but if we're good with them, then we can go,
Then
you
we
know.
could-
If they're stamped, then they can get advanced. If they're not
Okay.
stamped, then it's gonna have to go to the next one.
yeah,
Got
so
it.
if you do the both steps in
Okay.
one, that's fine.
Good,
That's
good.
fine. And thank you for your input and your collaboration
Sure, sure.
as far as everything with wrapping up the sand movement at Mecox.
Oh,
as
yeah, I
well.
do have, I put a little spreadsheet together for that sand removal that shows the quantities and the deliveries and the locations that it went to each property.
Did you look at it
Just
this
give it to,
morning?
Oh,
Bill,
let
you
them
need-
stamp it in.
You just need an updated cover too, to reflect that
Yeah.
new project.
Billy, did
You
you,
gotta
get-
stamp that in.
You want to stamp this one too, or
Yeah.
stamp this one and send it down?
Billy, did you go down there this morning?
I haven't been down there yet, how's it look?
I don't know, there's just some pretty big surf.
Yeah,
Tide is
And there's
wicked
high
high.
tide.
wicked high, yeah.
Yeah,
Higher than
I
yesterday.
think
And that
it's, I
wind is-
think it'll be fine, but
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to swing down there.
Yeah, I'll swim
Did you
down
get
there.
snow fence up?
Not yet.
Wait
Yeah,
until after
hopefully.
probably Wednesday, you're gonna get another I think
Yeah.
scale southeaster again.
Yeah, we wanted to do a little bit more of the final grading,
Okay,
which will happen, was supposed to happen this week, but we'll see what happens with the weather.
okay.
Might grade for you.
And then
More
you'll
than
plant
usual.
it, you'll plant it.
Plant in the
March?
spring, yeah, March,
Hopefully?
mid-March.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Good.
That will
Hopefully
make a big difference.
It'll be really good.
Well, after 3 years.
Yeah, right. Okay, good.
Thank
I got
you.
one more after this. but
Oh,
I'll come
and
back.
actually, my 361 Dune, you can hang if you want, 361 Dune Road LLC, the consultant, Peconic Environmental, requested that we hold this until the next meeting.
All right,
So,
consider it held,
All right.
and you can stay right there.
Stay right here.
All right, I have
Like that.
a 31 Allison Lane LLC, 31 Allison Lane, Hampton Bays. It's the determination for final stamp plans review.
This we did update per our last meeting.
Okay.
Pulled everything back a little bit, made some notations about the lighting and some other things with the overnighted dockage, and got them stamped, so. This
It's
is,
exactly as the board had requested.
exactly. And you have a real set stamp plan? right?
Yep, yeah, it's stamped right here.
That's just an extra.
That's right. Thank you.
Take a look at that. All of that, 6 by 27 with no overnight dockage. Mark, is that something that we should put in a covenant on there, or is it, or are the plans just good enough to reflect that?
It should be in the covenant.
We could definitely do it in a covenant that, I mean, so you.
That way it won't get lost.
Yeah, yeah, that's totally appropriate.
Do you want to draft up
It's,
some?
We can do
real
that.
quick, it's on, the cover sheet, so it'll be in the actual permit description.
I'm just making sure because,
It doesn't get forget.
What's that?
You can do
10
it
years
either
from
way.
now,
Like I said,
you know.
if it's in the actual permit,
then it's enforceable.
you can put it in the permit and seek to enforce it later. The problem is that once, the problem we've run into is, once the permit conditions are met, at some point, we have to give a final determination.
Yes.
And we do. And then after that, without the covenant, it's really not enforceable. So I would favor the covenant that runs.
Yeah.
with the
That's what
permit.
I'm asking you this.
Yeah, that way it
Because I
won't get
realize
lost.
The covenant is a strong.
Want this
It
back?
goes with the property in
Yeah.
perpetuity. This only goes with the permit when it's valid to do the construction.
Right, and then once the construction's done, according to the permit,
It's closed out.
yeah, exactly. We grant our final certificate, and then after that, it's kind of done.
Can we draft up some verbiage as far as a covenant that goes with this?
Yeah, I'll meet with you in terms of real specifics after, but definitely, that's no
Okay.
problem at all.
All right, you want to hold on to it, or want me to?
Let me hold on to it, I'm gonna meet with you anyway.
We'll put it in the file.
So that it doesn't hold up the process, is that something maybe you guys could do before the next meeting? Because otherwise, this is all set to go, right?
Yeah, it's got the stamp plans and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, in terms of, final draft filed, no, but I could definitely have the draft done for you.
Okay, we'll work on the draft and I'll get it over to Billy.
Cool.
All right?
Okay.
It's
Thank
in-
you, guys.
It's in the works.
All
Of
right.
course. Is that everything for you?
That's
Yes.
it. Yeah,
Okay,
thanks again.
thank you.
See you guys.
I have 188 LLC, modification and renewal for 188 Redwood Road, Village of Sag Harbor. This is Costello Marine. All the plans and sheets are submitted. The owner and applicant came in at the last work session and thoroughly discussed this. I would recommend that we move this forward.
This is the erosion problem on the adjoining property, which is compromising the applicant's
Exactly.
property.
Yeah, and they're
Has Lucy
anxious
this?
to begin work on
Yeah, I
this.
recall this.
So if we could move this forward, that'd be great, and everything is there and stamped.
Yeah, I recall this one.
I remember.
Yep.
It's been a problem for a while.
Yep. You good?
Yep.
We're good.
Great. You want to take a look? Sure. Okay, pending the opinion of Mark McRedmond, I'd like to move this forward.
That's good.
I'm good with it. It's a good plan.
Right, the next one we have on is Tristan
Looks fine.
Bagwanden, 114 June Avenue, Flanders, with Cole Environmental Services.
You're up.
Sorry, Charles.
Hello, good morning.
Hi.
Hello.
Good morning.
How you doing today?
Good. How are you guys?
Terrific.
this was on before. This is for a general permit application for determination, final stamp plan review.
Yes. So we made the notes, the contractor knows that you want the tree saved. We just made the additional note that just in case it can't be saved, it'll be replaced with a native and no treated wood to be used.
And we have stamp plans now.
Yes.
I think everything's in order. I'd move it forward and advance it.
Great.
You good?
Yep.
Okay,
Perfect.
thank you.
Thank you.
Easy peasy.
Yes.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Yep.
All right, so that concludes our posted agenda for today. However, we do have executive session that we need to go to. Huh?
Plural.
Yeah, executive session, it's going to be a very busy day for personnel issues, litigation issues, all types of issues. So, that being said, I'll make a motion to close the work session.
Look at this one.
No, I think he's just observance, right? He's
Okay.
just observing our meeting, I think.
Did you want,
No, he's just, yeah.
He's just observed.
He's just observing, I think. He's not on the agenda yet. So I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting, go into executive session,
Second.
for the purpose of?
discussing personnel and litigation. Seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Great, thank you. So we have to keep separate the stamped plans ones and the ones that we just moved through, right?
It's okay.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay. That's separation.
Separation of church and state.